What's up everyone, Georgie here and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through Restream.io, and that includes 1, what the heck is Restream, 2, how and why I've been using it, and 3, what I've learned along the way. With that in mind, let's get started. First things first, what is Restream? Restream is a multi-streaming platform that allows you to broadcast to multiple streaming services simultaneously. That includes some of the top platforms like Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube, but there's about 30 plus other platforms that is also supported by Restream. That's pretty much it. That's what Restream does. Now the juicy stuff. Why did I start using Restream and how have I been using it? The reason I started using Restream, believe it or not, was not because I wanted to grow my viewership. There are a lot of opinions out there around the pros and cons of using a platform like Restream to broadcast to multiple services at once. There's a recent video by Harris Heller, which I'll link in the description below, that touches on why that's not a great approach if growing your viewership and audience is what you're looking to do. But that's not what I'll be chatting to you about today, because in my case, the reason I embarked on a journey through Restream was because as a new content creator, I wasn't sure which platform was going to be the right fit for me. And all I was looking to do was run a concurrent broadcast on the 2 platforms I have been exploring, which are Twitch and Mixer, to help me identify which ones have, how do the metrics compare? And when I mention metrics, the ones that I'm talking about or that I was looking more closely at were overall views, so max views, min views on each platform, how many people were following me, looking at those trends over time. And the reason I didn't want to do Mixer broadcasting isolated and then Twitch broadcasting isolated was because I felt like that wasn't a fair comparison. I felt like in order to get some really tangible or data that I could trust, it needed to be concurrent because I needed it to be on the same day, same date, same time frame, and Restream enabled me to do that, and they have reporting to support that as well. So that is why I chose to get started with Restream and see how my streams were performing alongside each other between Twitch and Mixer. So that's why I was using Restream. Now let's get into how I was implementing the platform and how I maintained direct line of communication with my audience members. So here's the thing. The biggest downside to Restream, in my opinion, is that as great as it is for you as a content creator, because you're essentially killing 2 or multiple birds with 1 stone, it's not a great experience for your community or for your viewer base. And the reason for that is that they do not talk, the 2 platforms don't talk to each other. So if you've got 50 people on Mixer chatting to you about one thing, the folks over on Twitch have no visibility over that, and vice versa. So it's your job, if you are using Restream as the creator, to connect or bridge those 2 worlds together as best that you can. In my case, the way that I did that was I had 3 windows open, which seems a little extreme on a single monitor. So on my second monitor, I had my Mixer dashboard open and I had my Twitch dashboard open, as well as the desktop app for chat, which was created by Restream. What the chat application does is it connects you as a creator to both platforms, so you can see the text that's going on between the different platforms you're streaming to in one window, and you can respond to them collectively. So if you sent a message through the chat app, you have the option to send that message to both or to all of the platforms you're streaming to. You could send it to specific ones, and so that can be really helpful. I used it a little bit, but I tried really hard to verbally connect the 2 communities. And I was able to do that because I'm still quite early on in my journey as a streamer and content creator. So I was able to mitigate that quite well myself in the short term. For example, if a question came up on Mixer, I would, or Twitch or whichever, and I wanted everyone to be across that, I would ask the question, or I would communicate the question on stream to everyone and let them know where the question came from. I was very honest with the fact that I was restreaming. It was a little bit risky, so a quick segue is that if you are a Twitch affiliate, you are technically breaking the terms of service if you use a service like Restream, I believe. I'm not a lawyer. I did read the agreement, so that is something that you definitely want to keep in mind. And we're not going to get into that today, but just a quick side note to make sure that you're aware of that. But I was really honest with my audience that I was streaming to 2 platforms, and for the most part, and to the best of my knowledge, everyone was cool with that. So that is how I implemented Restream, as well as why. Now, in the next piece, I will take you through what I learned and what the overall summary is for my own journey with the platform so far. Okay, so I've been using Restream for quite a few months in the hopes that I would be able to use some tangible data to help me identify, honestly through raw analytics, which platform was going to be the right fit for me. And I have good news and I have bad news for you. The good news is I did walk away from that experience with a few insights that has helped me navigate or identify which platform I think is the right fit. The bad news is I'm still only 70 to 80% of the way there, and the numbers weren't as dramatic or as obvious to me as what I'd envisioned when I started out with this little experiment of mine. But here is what I did notice. But before I jump into that, I want to preface it by saying that this is my own personal experience based on my own personal criteria of what I feel the right platform is. So I'm hoping that it might give you a different perspective to consider, or some thoughts and suggestions around how you might start to navigate determining which platform's right for you. But just please keep in mind that this is all completely based on my own experience and opinions. With that in mind, here are some of the things that stood out to me. Twitch had a stronger overall viewership for me, especially at a base level versus Mixer. And when I'm talking about base level, when I first go live and I hit that go live button, with Twitch, I'd start out with between 3 and 5 or 6 people straight off the bat. And then with Mixer, it's usually 1 or 2 for the first hour or so at least. But then towards the end of each night, I was ending up with quite a few more viewers stable throughout a whole stream versus with Twitch, which would fluctuate quite a lot and never really peak to the same level as Mixer. So Twitch on a good night, I might peak at like 7 or 8. Mixer on a good night, I was peaking at like 10 to 12 or 13. Twitch definitely has a stronger level of discoverability, and I think that that's why I was seeing more people. So total views for each stream, which I believe is just number of people who came across the channel at some point, collective in a stream, was definitely much higher on Twitch. We're talking like in the hundreds versus in the 20s or 30s, like I would see with Mixer. So that was interesting to me. But on Mixer, I would definitely convert. Convert feels like a really awkward word to use. I'm from the startup space. That's kind of business lingo. But with Mixer, I was definitely getting a lot more people coming through and staying, and then also following. So that element on Mixer has been stronger for me versus with Twitch. Twitch has been really challenging to see people actually follow and then come back. And then with, I think the biggest difference for me with Twitch, and I said I was like 70 to 80% of the way on my decision as to which platform I'm going to go with, because it's a really hard decision to make, but I'm a very social person, and what I love the most about live streaming is my ability to connect with an audience. And what I found with Twitch was I might have been getting more people coming through the channel and viewership to a degree, but no one was really engaging or chatting with me on the Twitch platform. Whereas with Mixer, I was getting quite a lot of people, and I am getting quite a lot of people jump in, they're chatting in live chat, they're asking questions, and they're also coming back, and they're on Mixer seem to be more community oriented, whereas I think with Twitch, at least again in my own personal experiences, might just be content based and watching. And that was harder for me because I'm so social and bubbly, and I just love to talk to people. So those are the core insights that I learned by going through Restream. I found that to be really helpful. I didn't necessarily need Restream to figure out the engagement piece, but I definitely needed something like Restream to help me look at the side-by-side comparisons of some of the raw data just to see if anything stood out. Those numbers weren't as dramatic as I anticipated, but at the same time, I'm pretty early on. So if there are some of you who have stronger viewer bases on either platform and you're thinking about going to a different platform, maybe the numbers will be a bit more self-explanatory for you. But that's pretty much it. I hope you found today's episode insightful, and ultimately I wanted to give you a different perspective because a lot of the conversations about Restream have been focused on don't use it because you're disconnecting your audience, it's not going to help you grow, and I agree with that. Today was about if you want to see which platforms have better analytics, I suppose, behind them for you in terms of viewership, then Restream, I feel, can definitely help you identify that. That's it from me. Georgie out. Peace. Surprise! It's one of those awkward, hey, if you liked my episode today, be sure to hit that thumbs up, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel kind of messages. I also live stream every Monday, Thursday, and Friday from 6:30 p.m. Brisbane time. I'm usually live streaming Apex Legends, so it's not necessarily a live stream around how to live stream. I'm totally not there yet. But I do have a lot of fun with my amazing gaming fans, and I try not to embarrass myself too much. So if you want to come and hang out, you can ask me any questions that you like. I'd especially love to hear your feedback on my YouTube content, as well as any suggestions you have for upcoming episodes. But that's it from me for realsies this time. I'll see you soon. Bye, folks.